They laughed when he softened his voice to ask for one more wagging tail. He's a volunteer, assigned to the cages, a quiet man in a denim jacket. No badge, no fanfare. People around him assume he's just another helper, someone who won't make waves. The shelter director brushes him off, treating every question like an unwanted interruption, while the volunteers scramble to keep things running. He never argues. He just keeps showing up, soft-spoken but steady, gathering stray crumbs of hope for the dogs who've learned to distrust humans. Years ago, his apartment was a shelter in itself. No warmth, no safety. He slept on a torn couch, fed by a neighbor who disappeared one winter, leaving the building to crumble. He learned to read fear in a dog's eyes and to speak with gentleness when the room itself felt loud with pain. The memory isn't loud, but it's loud enough to remind him that small acts can steady a life when everything else shakes. A night shift power outage hits the shelter. Freezers fail, dogs begin to panic. A fire alarm bleeds into the dark. The director yells orders, but the power outage cripples the shelter's systems. A frightened puppy slips toward an exposed outlet, smoke curling in from a downed lamp. The director's first instinct is to protect his own image. He orders the volunteers to evacuate. The volunteer stays, guiding the trembling animals toward the back door, hands steady, breath measured, until a loud crack of falling shelving traps him momentarily. The man pulls a heavy shelf away with a gritted breath, red emergency light bathing the room. He carries a trembling terrier in his arms, then another, guiding them toward the back door as smoke ghosts curl along the floor. His coat sleeve tugs at a leash, and a longer, calmer voice cuts through the crackle. His own, not loud, but certain. "You two go out first." He pauses at the doorway, turning to make sure every tail is accounted for, every heartbeat counted by his careful eyes. The director arrives minutes late with a fire extinguisher he insisted was unnecessary. He sees the chaos and the chaos in him. The volunteers rushing, the animals whimpering, the crowd outside beginning to murmur about mismanagement. The director's pride inflames into accusation. Blame is hurled at the volunteer for not evacuating sooner, labels of risk and irresponsibility thrown like daggers. A clip from the incident leaks to the shelter's donor network, painting the volunteer as reckless instead of brave, as if quiet compassion were a liability. Investigators review the footage and confirm what the eyes felt in that moment. The volunteer saved more lives with steadiness and care than any dramatic command could. The major benefactor, the quiet, steady force behind the shelter's operations, unmasks himself in the online reveal, a streamed payment record with the shelter's name signed in his own handwriting. The donors, moved by the visible courage and the shelter's survival, rally to reinforce the shelter's leadership culture. The director, confronted with the truth, offers a public apology that lands like a soft sunset after a storm. The volunteer accepts with a nod, not for praise but for the dogs whose lives now have a future.